Alright, that didn't fix it. Let's try this. One more try, Turdsman.
Hello, everyone. Hey, there we go. All right.
Okay, awesome. Got it.
I heard my own voice and freaked out for a moment.
Alright, we're good. We are good on that end. Apologize, ladies and gentlemen. But the good news is Turdsman already practiced rehearsing the flags and the various entries one time. So he should be a pro at it this time. So Turdsman, do you want to go over the flags one more time?
Definitely. And this is worth the wait, I assure you. So, start from the top. The Kefka unlock 2 of 6 characters, 13 Espers and 4 Dragons. That means our runners are going to have to do at least 2 of those 3 things. Kill 4 dragons, find 13 Espers, or find 6 characters before they can get to the final boss. They will get auto-condemned when they suplex a train. So if they run into the Phantom Train boss and use the suplex blitz on it, they will all be treated with a horrible status ailment that will kill them in roughly 60 seconds. And a Magitech upgrade for saving Sid. That's a handy little thing. If they run into the Magitech command, they can get some better abilities out of it with Sid. It's my dog. 2 character start. Stats are 97 to 109%, so roughly their normal abilities that might not even actually change most of them that much. 6,164 GP, which will become very important later on down the list.
Oh, yeah.
2 to 4 starting Espers, 1 to 2 spells per Esper. Spell MP, he's so mad. He tried to hide from me earlier when I was going to give him a walk, and now I'm doing something, buddy. Sorry. Spell MP 4 to 75. That means that every single spell is going to have a cost of between 4 and 75. Completely random, I think. I don't think that's weighted to the effectiveness of the spell. No Ultima. Bum Rush last is false. That means that if they have a Blitz user, our runners can go and get that Bum Rush cutscene, whatever they like. Steals and drops are shuffle plus 100% random. That one's huge. I think that's going to be where our runners are going to be getting most of their items from. Shock is available. That's fantastic. MP multiplier is 3 instead of 5. In a lot of the standard ones, it's 5 times upgrade there. Scaling level, characters, Espers, and Dragons times 2. HP and MP is times 3, and EXP and GP is just times 1. So they're going to be fighting tougher bosses, tougher enemies, and getting lower rewards from it, unfortunately. Scaling ability factor at 1.5. Highest ability is at level 36. That is pretty low to start running into your Goners and your Flare Stars and such.
Yeah.
Statues are shuffled amongst each other, so those bosses are going to be at the end, but you don't know which one is going to be which. 33% of the boss encounters are random, 20% are fixed. That just means that some of the bosses are going to be wherever, but about roughly 1/4 of them are going to be where they're supposed to be. Magimaster no Ultima equals false. This is huge. If our players run into Magimaster, really the only thing they can do about it is have life 3 or jump. Those are pretty much your only options to be able to survive a Magimaster encounter. Lots of good equipment options, plus 56%, so that all the characters are going to have roughly half of the equipment that they could not originally equip will be equipable. Curse Shield 2 to 7. That's really low. That's going to be very handy. Unfortunately, no Ultima on that Curse Shield. Standard item rewards, that's we upgraded that a little bit recently to remove some of the Genji equipment and such. Shops, random tiered. Item cost 44k to 62k. It is going to be very difficult for our players to find stuff in the shops that are going to be worth it for that price. Fortunately, the sell is 1/4, so it'll be, kind of a barter seed. Roughly 4 items can be traded in for another one. Rods and balls are available. Those are going to be very handy in this early game. Chests are shuffle at random, plus 48%. Vanilla monsters in a box. That's handy. They'll know where there's they'll know where they're going to be able to find an offering. And pull up another one. 2 Espers in the auction house, and no Illuminas at all in the seed. That's going to be a little bit tough. Well, it looks like we're about to get started.
Yep, our runners are about to get going here just momentarily. We gave them the kickoff. So what Tersman just went over are some of the flags for this flag set, or that were rolled for this flag set. In short, flags in the randomizer, you can think of them almost more like settings. Settings within the realm of possibility of what your flag or your randomizer can or cannot do. And in this case, what we did is we used the chaos flag preset, and what you do is use the chaos preset, and it randomizes everything. Your randomizer gets randomized how you're going to play it.
Yeah, this is a somewhat common thing that is run through the Discord. It's a tournament based entirely around this chaos flag set.
Yeah. And with Worlds Collide, just in general, a little breakdown. What we do is we give our runners access to the airship right away. You're able to freely traverse between the World of Balance and the World of Ruin. And your end game ultimately is to defeat Final Kefka, to climb Kefka's tower, and defeat the Mad Clown that is up there waiting for you. How you get there in Worlds Collide is up for debate or up to your own personal desire. In this particular case, we need to find six characters, 13 espers, and 4 dragons. Or we need 2 of those requirements, excuse me. And we got access to the airship. We'll run around, we'll loot, we'll fight some stuff, and we'll get Kefka ready somehow.
And it's going to be pretty tough. I think the biggest hurdle with these sort of barter seeds is just regular items. Typically when you start, you want to get a big stack of sleeping bags, you want to get a big stack of Phoenix Downs, and unfortunately in this case, those both of those items are over 40,000 gold, which is makes it a little tough to get a bunch of them all at once.
And in that Narsh weapon shop, you saw a sword breaker, and a sword breaker is not typically something you see in World of Balance Narsh, and that's because, again, this is a randomizer, and this is chaos. So as I mentioned earlier, the chaos flag preset is it will shuffle a bunch of random flags for you and give you something to go through and experience a little something unique each and every time. Kurzman went over the flags, but a couple flags I want to point out that were rolled for this particular flag set are gonna really dictate what our runners do. Is that 100% random on the drops for all encounters.
Yes.
So that is huge if you can find the right encounter and kind of milk it. So, in Worlds Collide, in Final Fantasy VI, there's 255 items out there to be had, and about 50 of them you really, really want to have. So if you can find a fight where you fighting flans, and those flans turn around and drop fixed dice for you, that is huge because you can stay in that area, kind of grind that fixed encounter, and get enough fixed dice for all of your characters, or just to sell if you want to.
Yeah, it can be really handy with some of the checks that have random encounters baked in, like Burning House or the Imperial Camp. If you run into something nice there, then you're going to get a couple extra as you go through. So Mog and Terra's start is pretty interesting. We saw both of our runners go into Narsh to get the Mog event up and running. The way that the checks happen in this game is they're tied to character events. So for example, with the Mog event, when you find him in the original game, you find him by going into that shack at the beginning. You run into Lone Wolf the Pickpocket, legendary fella.
Oh, yeah.
And then you continue on up the mountain to find him later on there. Now, neither of our runners actually went and completed it, but they did get that check started. And now, once they decide to actually go and do that, they'll be able to finish off that little event. But Terra also has a lot of good checks attached to her. So we'll see once they're done with this initial looting phase. We'll see where our runners decide to go.
Yeah, there's a good chance. So Terra has one of the best checks in Worlds Collide, in that we call it the sealed gate, but basically it's the part of the vanilla game where the Emperor coerces Terra to go to the sealed gate, enter the Esper realm, and try to convince them to fight on their side. In Worlds Collide, that gives us access also to the Imperial Treasure Room, and that is a very chest-dense area where you can get a lot of chests very fast, and also everything throughout the sealed gate as you walk through the end of the gate.
It is a fantastic check to have access to at the beginning of the game. I think having Terra at the start is probably the best time to have her. And currently, both runners in South Figaro two high-level runners are probably going to be making some pretty similar decisions in the beginning. But we'll see. I'm sure we're going to see a lot of divergence once they start getting access to their stuff. Looks like we might already be getting some. Hefe taking a quick save in the basement there. That is usually what a runner will do when they are preparing to take some grind fights down here in the Figaro basement. Don't ask too many questions about the jail that this rich man has downstairs. It's got some items in it, and we're just going to move right along and not think about that too much harder. So some pretty decent items. I noticed an Aura Lance was found in the Returner hideout. That's it. Which I believe Mog could equip that by default, so that's a very effective weapon for him right out of the gate. Oh boy, okay.
Yeah. So,
okay. Of note.
We briefly touched on that there can be bosses shuffled in the encounters. I think it was a very small percent. But that's sometimes
20 something, I think.
Yeah, sometimes you win the lottery and sometimes you win the bad lottery, so.
So yeah, Hefe deciding, maybe I won't take any grind fights in the Figaro basement. Pop that Moogle Charm back on.
Yeah, let's put it back on, and we'll go try somewhere else.
Well, yeah, let's take a different tactic here.
Yeah, so Schwantz is not going to take any grind fights down here, so he's going to avoid that hide night disaster. I do think we'll see some grind fights, eventually out of the runners, and that's part of the fun part of Worlds Collide. That I love is just a random entries like that. You pop into a fight and you're fighting, you have Terra and you have Mog in the South Figaro basement with an Aura Lance, and you're fighting hiding. You can get really creative with some of the shenanigans you can get into.
Yeah, it's pretty fun, especially these Chaos Seeds. We run a lot of really structured events. Ultros League, obviously, the sort of base level racing league that we have doesn't really fiddle with a lot of the stats too terribly much, but these chaos I think it's tournament of the month, so every month there's a new set of them. They get tweaked as the weeks go by, and there can be some pretty wild stuff in there. Like Magimaster having his ultimate counter on death is wild. Like that completely changes how you can interact with that boss.
Yeah, so while we call that flag the Magimaster no Ultima flag and it is disabled, so in the vanilla game you fight Magimaster at the top of Fanatic's tower, and then at the end of the fight he obviously casts Ultima on you, and you need quite a bit of HP to survive. In Worlds Collide we have a concept called ability scaling. So right now, obviously, we're starting at level 3, so we're not going to fight bosses and monsters that are going to be able to cast Fire 3 on us. Enter ability scaling. As our characters gain levels and trigger the ability scaling, which is a 1.5 time multiplier of their character Espers and Dragons they have taken on, the abilities monsters can use will go up, and it will go up in power. So basically Fire becomes Fire 2, Fire 2 becomes Merton, or excuse me, Fire 3, and then Fire 3 becomes Merton throughout the seed. So if we did run into Magimaster now, it would be a scaled down, non-elemental attack version of Ultima. So it could be something like Rage, something like Meteor, maybe if we're in the mid-game. It will be something different until we reach the very end of the ending of the seed, if you will.
Okay, I actually did not know that. I thought that the ultimate counter was an ultimate counter no matter what.
Oh, so here's a fun little fact about that flag, is that so it can basically be any non-elemental ability within a certain pool, and within that pool, Flare actually exists. So you could just get a single target. And my personal favorite is Fallen 1. Fallen 1 is in that pool.
I'm gonna get you!
Yeah, so he just puts you down to 1 HP and then dies. That's a good one. Obviously better than Ultima, but Yeah.
So it looks like Schwantz is going through that sealed gate check that we mentioned earlier, picking up a pretty decent number of checks along the way.
Do you see what Hefe found with his Aura Lance? He just found Dragonhorn and Dragon.
Oh,
that's pretty
yeah,
sweet.
both.
Yeah, that's thank you, Mog. Here's what you'll be doing for the next hour.
Yeah, he's set for the whole game. That's pretty much an end. That's an end game build on Mog right there. He doesn't really have to tweak that at all.
Not at all. So Aura Lance is arguably, depending on your thoughts on fixed dice. So Aura Lance is the best jumping weapon in the game. Depending on how you feel about fixed dice, you can make an argument that fixed dice is better. But you know, we won't fight. We'll keep it peaceful. That is an Esper at the end of Sealed Gate for Schwantz. So that puts him at 4 Espers now.
Which is technically progression, but can kind of cause some problems here. Not a great spell on it. Carbuncle's not a fantastic summon, and Schwantz is still at level 3, so that is much tougher enemies in front of him here.
Ooh.
Both of them deciding to go after this fight in the camp here. Allosaurus and Parasite.
Yeah, looks like Hefe's pot committed to this fight, and Schwantz could maybe run away if he wanted to. I think you run away after 1 Bolt 2 comes out and you're laying down. You just get out of there. It's a good try. Looks like Hefe is kind of the same position as Schwantz, except he can't run away. This might be a reset. Yep. Well, it's a forced reset on Schwantz's end now. So that's a little bit of the problem with starting with seeds, where you start with Espers and the scaling is based on is your Esper count is included in the scaling, because you already start in a deficit. You're starting level 3. We do have a invisible number in Worlds Collide so that you don't know the monster's level. What I mean by that is you can take your scaling, which in this case for the boss's level is characters, Espers, and dragons you have acquired or defeated times 2. So right now Schwantz has 6 total, 2 characters, 4 Espers. So you could surmise that his monsters or his bosses are level 12. But there's an invisible number that you can't access that doesn't allow you to manipulate the boss's level for RNG and other spells, and that number falls between 1 and 3. So his bosses right now are anywhere from level 13 to 15, and he's level 3, so that's just no bueno.
Yeah, I think in general that's to help prevent some abuse of the level multiplier lores as well. Like, if you knew exactly what level your enemies are, you could just throw out level 5 death and wipe them off the face of the earth.
Yes, indeed. Looks like I was mistaken. Hefe's almost done with this fight. He's
pulling it off.
Yeah. Great heads up knowledge there to know that Chimera does Aqua Rake for a Rage. Does this get him through? Almost. This Mog's going to come in down for him, though, and finish it off.
Yeah, but the combination of the Dragon Horn giving Mog some extra jumps, those jellyfish only took 2 hits to kill. Got 3 Bioblasters out of it. Excellent.
Not what you're looking for, but that's a pretty good experience fight. Now Hefe is level 6 instead of level 3. He's going back and trying it again. Oh, nope, excuse me, he's going to the treasure room.
Oh, interesting.
I stand corrected, good sir.
Oh, yeah, he hadn't gone through the cave yet. He just went to see what that fight was right out of the gate.
I think what Schwantz is doing here, he's investing in some Pearl Rods. He's going to probably just try to bank on those getting through his whatever fight he tries to take now. Yeah,
getting those are going to be very valuable until our runners can get some levels under their belt. Because in this particular Final Fantasy, Breaking a Rod does cast the spell that's attached to it. But in Final Fantasy VI, that spell will be 1, it will ignore Reflect, and 2, it will ignore Magic Defense. So a really handy tool to get past some early game bosses that might be giving you some trouble.
Yeah, and obviously Pearl Rod will cast Pearl, the Holy Elemental spell. Unfortunately, it's only single target though, so Schwantz is going to really need to bank on not coming across, 5 chicken lip fight, because then he has to break actually, he's going to try a boss. I stand corrected yet again. Hey,
it's that guy!
Magimaster.
He didn't even get a chance to slide onto the screen. Just, nope, no.
Yeah, I don't think Pearl Rods are going to solve that problem. Alright, so Schwantz is going to go back to the drawing board and try something else while Hefe is fighting some Slurm. Have you ever had Slurm, Turdsman?
Here's really addictive. I don't like to get in on that too much.
I have a few questions about how it's made, but that's, different media content consumption.
My understanding is that it's all natural.
It's mass produced, I'll tell you that.
Yeah, there you go.
Alright, Schwantz is walking around outside the Opera House, and he's this is interesting. Pearl Rods are fantastic for this fight. It's just a matter.
Will?
Yeah. So This is fantastic and very dangerous because Chatternook will throw a lot of AoE bolt attacks at you, and I don't think Schwantz is in condition to survive any of those. But he is weak to Pearl, and this is going to really, really do a lot of damage. Can he get through this? Oh no.
Got lucky with... Got lucky with that first hit, at least.
Yeah. Let's see if the second one gets it, because this is a pivotal moment. Oh, he's getting 3 off. Oh,
got a third. Very nice.
He is living life on the edge here. Will a third do it? Oh no.
Oh no.
Oh no. Alright, will a fourth do it?
I don't hate this. Hefe did a really good job of getting Terra back up before. Oh
no.
Boy, that didn't even do it.
Will a fifth do it? Let's find out. Hopefully seventh does it because we don't have an eighth.
So the way that the level scaling works, you know, HP and MP go up as well. Ooh, that's a bummer. That's probably going to be yep.
Yeah, so really at this point for Schwantz, unless he can negate whatever element AoE attacks comes at him, it's going to kill him. Unless you can absorb Blitz, Ice, any Blizzard's just gonna wipe him. That's unfortunate there, because that's I thought he had it, so let's see what he does now.
Looks like he's taking that Moogle Charm off, and he's just gonna grab whatever grind fight he can possibly get his hands on here. Oh, interesting. Taking it to the Moogle defense. This is not a bad idea.
I love this. Here's the reason why. So in the Moogle defense, there's going to be 6 little Narsh guards down here that we can fight. Here's the good news. If one of those fights, one of these encounters is a very lucrative encounter, either it's a good experience fight and easy, or if it gives us a good item, we can fight it up to 6 times because each one of those Narsh guards will be the same fight.
But yeah, if this is something like Gigantos, for example, and Schwantz is able to get through 1 or 2...
You say that, but he doesn't get through Gigantos. He needs something else, because Gigantos is going to one-shot his characters.
Oh, yep, you're right, and he can't get away with casting Raiden either.
Oh, he does have... Oh no!
Oh!
Oh no! This is another reset, force reset, if you will. That was a... I'm sorry, Schwantz. That's a novel effort, but
Ugh. I like that play. He's just he's catching all of the bad luck with all these. He's looking for experience points at this point.
He's looking for love in all the wrong places.
Yes, exactly. He did get this Lobo fight earlier that's on Hefe's screen, which didn't do him a whole lot of good. Now running into these guys, sheesh.
Yeah, ogres can zombie your characters, and they love to zombie your characters. And but this isn't the worst fight because it's only 2 targets, and if he can Pearl Rod 1, oh, that's clutch. Now if he can get through this one, this will get him off level 3, and it's just baby steps. You gotta get off level 3, and then you figure out the rest from there.
Yeah, because with the way that all the oh
no,
zombie
what a block!
Blocks.
What a block! Oh no!
Bad blocks.
Alright, does he break another Pearl Rod, or does he try another GP Rain?
Yeah, no, this is, good.
Yeah, that's a good call.
That's the thing to do. You gotta get through this. As long as Mog gets those levels, then he will have a character that can withstand another fight, in this case. Oh, got a cat hood out of it. That's nice.
Yeah, because Terra didn't survive the fight, no experience for her. But that cat hood is very interesting.
Yeah, especially in a seed like this where money is going to be such their players are going to be pretty hard up for it. Having that extra buff to what they're collecting is going to be handy. Hefe figuring out the carbuncle's not really too great. 110 magic, or mana to cast a full party reflect. Cure on it. Not what you want to see, but brings you one step closer.
So here's something interesting for Schwantz. If he can, if he goes in this next fight and Mog goes down, so be it. But as long as his mod gets enough MP to start using some of those summons, whether it's Golem, whether it's Odin, I think Odin is going to be quite a few more levels. But if he can get Odin online, that's at least something. Where he can do these fights.
And there was some instant death spells attached to those espers as well. I think both Doom and X-Zone were available from different ones, which might be a little bit cheaper at least. I think this will do it. The Ogre was the problem last time. Excellent.
That's a little dangerous fight to milk, if you will, or farm, but if it's working, don't knock it. Just do what you can. Looks like Maw can wear the cat hood, so that's a nice little GP boost that Swans is going to have going on here.
Hefe, meanwhile, I think is checking out some towns, looking at Thamasa right now. Not a bad town to check. All the shops are clumped up in the front, real nice. And there are even a couple chests to pick up if you are so inclined.
Red jacket there. Looks like both of the characters can wear it. That's really nice because I mentioned earlier that really any AoE attack is going to wipe our characters for a while. So if you can negate a few of those, that's just huge.
Yeah, there's a lot of nasty fire attacks out there. Flare Star, is Fire 3. Is you never want to see that.
Alright, Swans with some levels under his belt. Hefe traveling the world. We still have just seen the end of Seal Gate. We haven't seen any other checks yet, but that's also in part because everything is, we gotta get some levels under it, but you can't kill a boss at level 3.
Yeah, especially on these sorts of flag sets. Spending a little bit of extra time in the early game, getting your levels up is going to be really important.
Yeah, I think it's also important too because of the way experience is scaling in this flag set at a 1 multiplier, but your bosses are obviously going at a higher level. If you can find a good spot that you can come back and milk 3 or 4 times or farm 3 or 4 times, because your level's not going to keep up with your bosses based on the experience the boss gives you. So there's going to be some times where you have to stop and take some fights. And if Schwantz is going to go back to that ogre fight every time, then you know what, so be it. At least he knows he can clear it now.
Yep. Going and buying some more pearl rods. Might just be going back and forth here for that.
I would like to give a special shout. Oh, Hefe found fire rods. See, that's what happens. Hefe pet the dog that's in World of Balance Noblest. Now he finds fire rods for sale. You pet the dog. You respect the game. Good things happen.
We save the animals in this booth.
Yes, indeed.
Some things are more important than a couple seconds.
Yes, indeed. Looks like Schwantz is giving the Opera House a try. The Opera House is in the World of Runas where you fight the Dirt Dragon in the vanilla game. And we randomize the locations of the dragons in this flag set, so we'll fight a dragon here. That could be it could be the Dirt Dragon. It's a 1 in 8 chance because there's 8 legendary dragons.
And we know that there's a handful of rods available, so this isn't an impossible attempt here for Schwantz, but a little bit risky.
In randomizer fashion, we randomize the contents of the Colosseum. So in the vanilla game, you could trade a Ragnarok for an Illumina. Can't do that in Worlds Collide. Well, you could in Worlds Collide if that's what rolls.
It's possible.
Yeah, it's possible, but it's improbable.
Storm Dragon's
a little interesting because he doesn't have as much HP, but he does have some AoE attacks in the bank, which, again, we don't want to see AoE attack. We want to see, like, basic attacks out of our bosses. There we go.
He did throw out, I want to say it was Wind Slash earlier, and it looked like it only did double-digit damage to both characters, so a little handy. Storm Dragon, weak to lightning for some reason. Unfortunately, no Thunder Rods in the inventory, so we're going to have to crack a couple more of these pearls.
I thought that was going to do it. Maybe I'm mistaken.
HP totals seem pretty high, I think.
Yeah.
Oh, there we go.
There we go.
I mean, like you said, Storm Dragon is one of the more paper-thin dragons, but it's still an endgame enemy. So you're still probably going to run into stuff that's even at lower levels like Schwantz is. It's going to start approaching 10k HP. Grabbing an ice shield out of it though, very nice. And level 13 now. I think Schwantz is probably ready to go tackle a couple bosses.
You think he goes and fights that Magic Master now?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, definitely. I would.
Yeah, I don't see why not. There's no point in running from your fears. You might as well go fight.
That's absolutely, yeah. You gonna let him win like that? No way. No, absolutely do not go and fight the Magic Master. It's in standard play, he's extremely surmountable. But if he's got his final attack counter, then
that was some marble shoes for Hefe. That's a little interesting because marble shoes are one of the better accessories in the game, but in Worlds Collide, you're all about offense, but they're good to have in the bank.
They're a handy thing if you have a natural jump user, but unfortunately Mog is, both of his relic slots are spoken for.
Oh, no, so Hefe finding his version of the covert ogre counter just a little farther south on the plains outside of Figueroa and Narsh.
I'll be interested to see how he does, because Schwantz just solved that problem with money, but Hefe has some other offense available, and it looks like he's going to opt to use that instead of breaking rods.
Now, Schwantz is, with the knowledge of where Magic Master is, Schwantz is going on up to Terra's Zozo check in the vanilla game. This is where Terra flies off to. After Kefka assaults Narsh, and up here we can get a character, Esper, or a high tier item for our trouble. This is a little bit of a longer check though, because Schwantz does a lot of walking, and then obviously you fight the boss, so it's a lot of walking to get up here to the boss. But with, you know, oh no.
Well, at the very least, we know we're not at level 15.
Yeah, well, fortunately we're out of Pearl Rods, so we're gonna have to go to Plan B here.
Which seems to be that's Plan B, honestly. That's Plan B in that case.
Yeah, that was Plan R.
Ooh. Hefe finding something very interesting in, I think, the Figaro Desert here.
Yeah, unfortunately these guys are kind of hard to hit, kind of like Cactrots. In the vanilla game they do give you super balls, but again, shuffled item or shuffled drop, so we'll see what they give Hefe here.
We're gonna learn Big Guard if anybody shows up with lore. Which again, not the greatest ability in the Worlds Collide version of the game, since for the most part you don't want to spend any time not doing damage by the end of the game, but I just like Big Guard.
Ooh, Mithril Mail.
I mean, not a great, not a great piece of equipment, but like everything is going to sell for between 10 and 20,000. So finding 3 of anything, honestly, is not that big of a deal. Like Hefe sold all of those Bioblasters earlier for almost a cool 100k.
So King Smashington with the question in the chat. I wonder if the clock time is random too. So we can randomize. So we do randomize the clock. So if you want that chainsaw chest, what you have to do is you have to talk to some of the guys with questionable character in Mount Zozo. You talk to them, and then what you do is you kind of just cross off what they're telling you is not true, and then eventually you'll end up with the correct time. But yes, we do randomize the clock, so it's not always. I think it's 6, 10, 50.
Yes, in the standard game. So yeah, it is randomized, and you can. I think actually the Schwantz did a nice little helper video. Yeah.
Takes about 2 minutes to do all together, and that is something we can add as a quest or objective, but it did not get rolled in this chaotic flag set. Schwantz, or excuse me,
wow.
Hefe, 0 for 2 on the Zombite.
Yeah.
Looks like Schwantz is going back down to the Moogle defense. This is where Locke comes down and saves Terra from the Narsh guards. He's probably just go past the the guards, which I think were Dullahan earlier.
Yes, they were.
And just straight to the fight, straight to the boss fight. So we know it can't be Magic Master. We know it can't be Doomgaze. So Poltergeist it could be.
Actually, no. I think the statues
Oh,
are.
that's right.
Yeah, the statues are in Kefka's tower. So.
The worst
Oh.
boss this could be.
There we go.
Is I don't know.
I mean,
Maybe.
Inferno would suck.
Yeah, Inferno maybe. Fumbaba would be a little tough. Who can we will into existence here? Is the question we all want to know.
I know. I'm trying to think of what. Oh, he is going to fight the Dullahan's.
Oh, no, we
Interesting.
stand corrected. He does have that ice shield, so that will help in some Dullahan's attacks. Not his opening attack, which can be Pearl, but goodbye Kupek. Kupop. Ooh, Kupop has throw.
Nice.
Yeah, that's
Yeah, that's a fun little feature of Worlds Collide. If you don't have a full party in this, you'll get filled up with Muggles that have I think it's weighted that their abilities and equipment will be stronger than normal. Like they won't have any, Ragnaroks or Luminas or anything like that in wielding them, but they'll probably have some good armor, might have a decent weapon, that sort of thing.
Mm-hmm. I don't think I would throw anything here though if I was Schwantz because of the barter seed and the wall, what that entails. Anything you throw, you would have rather probably sold anyways for the minuscule damage it's going to do here. This Dullahan has some spice to him. Typically this is an easier fight, but not tonight. Nothing is easy tonight. Everything we are looking for.
Yeah, strap in. This is going to be a hard fought seed for these two runners tonight.
Terrorsman, what is your favorite part about Worlds Collide, you would say?
Well, I'd have to say, and this is calling myself out a little bit, I really like opening a chest and finding just something insane in it. That's my favorite part of randomizers in general, is just giving me the ability to indulge in my gambling addiction without actually gambling. Chaos Seeds are fantastic for this too. But just getting getting beyond that weird little power curve that can happen in this just feels great. And our runners haven't reached that point just yet, but I know once they do, once you get the steamroller full of gas, it feels really good.
Hepe, good news for Hepe. He knows where Magic Master is. Hepe's going to unearth some new information for us. He's going to do Elite River, which again is one of Terra's checks. So what we will do here is we'll hop on a raft, we'll fight 4 fixed encounters, possibly more if we want to, take the less optimal route, and then we'll fight a boss at the end of all of it. Schwantz is still doing the 2-step with Dullahan here.
Yeah, this unfortunately didn't turn out to be quite as quick. I think Schwantz was hoping that Pearl Rod would have done a little bit more damage, but alas.
Yeah. Luckily his Mog survives that Pearl because his Terra is out of commission. There goes a Bolt 3 though. There we go.
Oh, hey, the river's full of Kefkas apparently.
Oh no. Well, that's not bad.
No, it's actually really not.
No, my bad. I forgot. I was thinking this is the end of it already, but we got 4 more fights to go.
Even as something that you have to run into a few extra times, he's not the scariest boss that. Oh, hello, Merton.
Oh, hello, Merton. Ooh, he
ran into movers.
Oh,
yeah,
that's clutch.
That's actually really good because he has a bunch of those red jackets.
Yeah, or Mog can just jump over it while he cast it. Very nice there from nicely done there from Hefe. I would be shocked if Schwantz takes on another Dullahan here.
Yep.
All right, I hope for Schwantz' sakes this is like Piranhas are a very easy fight.
Yeah, he could really use some.
Oh hey.
Oh hey.
Yeah.
It's this guy. I remember this guy.
Yeah.
From 30 seconds ago.
Oh, Hefe does have a red jacket on his box, so he doesn't have to jump over his Merton. He can just fire away.
I really like Schwantz just cracking a Pearl Rod on what is otherwise a very simple boss. Just get out of my way. I have to move on.
Yeah, all that time he spent in the Dullahan, that would be really unfortunate if the White Tira couldn't get through this fight, because that's just time wasted towards no progression and no levels or nothing of benefit. but he makes it through. Finally got some
So,
momentum going.
Yeah, and Hefe showing off what I was just talking about. Found a very high damage spell in the form of the Mover Rage, casting Merton, and just using that to get through all of this stuff. Finally got a little bit of juice and is able to tear through some pretty decently powerful random encounters here.
All right, Schwantz with Esper number 5. Hefe almost to the end of Elite River. One more fight at the turn. Just another Tricker and Necromancer.
Not too bad. The Kefka Everywhere system is not firing off as often as we assumed it would.
Ooh, that Bahamut Esper does have Strength +2, but we don't have anything to take advantage of that at the moment, but if we come across a Ragnarok or something later on, that's huge. It's very beneficial to do.
Well, I think Schwantz did not go to Albrook like Hefe did, so he did not find the Dragoon set in that relic shop, unfortunately. But Cure 3 as well on that Bahamut, which I think is going to be very appreciated as time goes on.
I think this is a stock up on more Polar Rods play here from Schwantz.
Yep.
Yeah, there's no shame in that. If that's how you get through fights fast, that's how you get through the fight fast. And we have one last chance to jinx Hefe on the boss fight here. What do we think it's going to be?
I'm going to go with Dream Stooges, because you can't Merton that.
No, you cannot. Oh, Ghost Train.
Ooh.
Very nice.
You can Merton that. Unfortunately, no suplex to make everybody worse. We do not have access to Blitz just yet.
Okay, looks like Schwantz is going down the Elite River himself, so he'll fight Kefka in back-to-back fights. That will not complete the game for him. He needs to defeat a different Kefka in back-to-back fights, but that's coming later on. We'll get to that later.
Yeah, the Kefka that he is looking for is the one that has already attained, I guess, godhood. I don't really know what's going on with him at the end of the game.
We're not really sure. He has a lot of interesting spells. I always wondered what spells are on the Esper's Kefka claims when he's in the Masa. Is that like was one of those Espers the one that had Goner and some fallen one? I wonder about things like that, but I just love Final Fantasy VI.
It's all the hey, Locke.
Yeah, that's Locke. Character number 3 on the board for Hefe, and he has lore.
Not too bad. We'll see what he comes what he comes with. We did find Big Guard earlier, but that's not going to necessarily do a whole lot of work here. Hefe heading straight for Narsh, it looks like. Going to grab that Curse Shield, probably, as well as the check in the weapon shop.
I think the Curse Shields were... So we can randomize the count for Curse Shields as well in Worlds Collide. You can make it a really high number, like the vanilla game, if you're so inclined. But we usually make it a more attainable number. Well, it depends on your definition of attainable. But in this flag set, it will be anywhere from 2 to 7 battles to uncurse it.
Yeah, not bad at all. He came down from down from his cave.
Yeah. Yamara heard some rumbling, so we came down to take care of business.
Man, not putting your Moogle Charm back on is huge in this flag set.
Yeah, there is danger lurking around every corner and then some. But this is a little bit easier boss for a Hefe in this spot, so this could be a nice little experience boost. Plus, always the chance that it could trap something valuable.
He punches hard, but it's pretty much entirely single target. I think he might have Storm access to that. I don't remember.
He does have access to some ice AoE attacks. This is the most important and annoying part of this fight, because now he can potentially jump up in the air and you just gotta wait for him to come down.
Well, that Merton did a lot of damage, though, so I think one more of these probably going to do it, but unfortunately she punches.
Tackle not doing too much damage, but we are in the 4th quarter of this fight, so one more jump might possibly do it. If Terra does a Merton here. Does she Merton? No Merton. I think this jump will do it, though.
Schwantz, meanwhile, making his way through the Leet River, making use of that anemone, which I think casts Gigavolt. Uh-oh.
Oh no. Alright, well, pretty clutch time right there for a triple jump, and down goes Yumaro. I knew if I made the character icon on the tracker Yumaro, I could will him into existence somehow, and looks like it worked.
Narsh is just lousy with him now.
Looks like we're just throwing the Moogle Charm to get through this and get our Curse Shield and whatever's in the weapon shop. So in the weapon shop, we do have some spots throughout Worlds Collide where you can only get an Esper or an item for a check, and this is one of those spots. So Hefe will have the choice between possibly an Esper and an item. It will be an Esper. And that's an easy choice. You take the Esper over the Aegis Shield.
And for all of the choice checks, which I think there's only the two. There's the Mog and then Locke's weapon shop. The other option is still available elsewhere in the world.
Yep.
In Locke's case, it will be behind the Welk check, so where Terra goes inner Magitech armor to fight Welk.
Mm-hmm.
In the standard game, there'll just be a guy back there, and he'll be like, "Oh, hey, here's the shield."
Yeah.
And for the case of Mog, in the World of Ruin, Lone Wolf will be just hanging out in that Moogle cave back there. You can grab whatever else he was hanging on to.
Schwartz is in a little bit of a rough state here, but he does get access to a safe point before he has to do another fight. So it's all good. He's very, very close to attaining his lock. Looks like Hefe is putting on the ribbon now so he can start encroaching that shield.
I don't know if he got a red jacket on lock or not. Oh yeah, grabbing this. Maybe forgot that it was vanilla monsters in a box. That doggo is just going to hang out there.
Well, the curse shield count was 5, so now you just need to do 4. So that's a good play there.
That's a very good point, actually.
Now you're just down to 4, so you just go on about your business. He does have to put the Moogle Char on somebody, though, so looks like he's going to do some fights out here. So we might get round 2 with Yumaro. No, we're going outside. Well, Yumaro could still be lurking out here in the plains, potentially.
Yumaro and Kefka are just everywhere. So yeah, Schwantz does have pretty good offense. Nothing quite as good as Merton. Gigavolt is doing some work here, thankfully.
Yeah, Gigavolt is carrying Schwantz here, but not quite as effective as Hefe's Merton, but... Alright, so Schwantz through. He is just down to the last fight here, which was... What was the fight here again, Tersman?
Oh my god, I don't remember. It wasn't Yumaro, we just saw him.
No, it wasn't Yumaro. That's concerning. I'm really showing my age here. We can't remember what we just saw on the screen.
I guess it wasn't that notable. I mean, it wasn't Dream Stooges, that's for sure.
It's alright, we'll find out here in just a moment.
We can pretend, like...
Yeah, I knew all along it was Ghost Train.
Oh, right. Man.
Ooh, great heads
How
up play.
could I forget this guy?
Great heads up play from Schwantz. Ghost Train is susceptible to death.
Yeah, fun little quirk. Fun little quirk about the way that undead bosses work in this game. A lot of them do not have instant death resistance. So, with the undead flag turned off, which means you can't, just throw a Phoenix down at him and call it good. That does mean, however, that you can just throw a death spell at him and call it good.
Yep.
Some of them, anyway. I think there's a couple that don't. That doesn't apply to.
So we do have a flag in Worlds Collide called Undead Restore Undead Bosses. So basically in the vanilla game, you can use a Phoenix down on Ghost Train. You can use a Phoenix down on Haydn and just kind of be done with the fight. But we can have the ability to turn that off if we so desire. Some more... these are nothing special fights. I don't remember what the drop was from the first one, but...
Marvel Shoes.
Ooh, that's the second fight Hefe has done where he's got Marvel Shoes.
Schwant's taking a look at the... well, take a look at this relic shop first.
Nothing special there. I think he's at the point where he's just, you know, sticking his head in shops. Mirage Vest is pretty clutch, but he's going to pass on it. He's looking for just anything that will kind of turn the tide for him, and none of that will.
Yeah. Yeah, he needs something big right now. He's doing damage, but it's kind of slow, so...
Yeah, that's the problem with being reliant on Pearl Rods. Once you kind of loot the entire map, all the towns, like, you know, you're all working from Massa. We obviously seen our runners do Figaro, or South Figaro at the beginning of the season, and Marsh and whatnot. There's not really that many chests to open, so you can't get stuff to buy with Pearl Rods. So we're just at a kind of interesting spot with Schwantz. So he's going to take another stab here at a long shot. He's going in the Phoenix Cave, which is one of Locke's checks. We don't have to fight any boss to get through this check. We just traverse through the cave with multiple parties. And at the end, we will get a character, Esper, or item for our troubles.
You might go after that dragon, since that's one of the requirements for unlock, but we'll see. Meanwhile, Hefe running into the Super Behemoth, Senior Behemoth, the Shiracha Behemoth. You can make all kinds of assumptions of what that SR means, but this is another one of those weird bosses that has the undead flag fiddled with it. Once you get rid of this first version, it'll melt away into an undead version, and that one you can just throw an instant death spell at to get rid of.
Schwantz is doing some more looting. Well, there's about 6 chests in Phoenix Cave and World's Collide you can easily get access to and nab. Genji Shield's not bad. Little evasion on a Genji Shield.
There's a lot of better stuff to put in your shield slot, but I don't turn my nose up at a Genji Shield.
Not at all. We are in the back 9 of the Senior Behemoth fight for Hefe. Little interesting because our runners are not that far off from each other in progression. Schwantz is actually technically ahead. But I would say Hefe is a slight favorite right now, and the reason for that is his access to Merton. You saw it on the Elite River, where Schwantz was struggling to get through with his Gigabolt, whereas Hefe was Mertoning everything to death in one turn if it came out. And that's just going to kind of snowball for Hefe if he can keep that momentum going.
He is going to have to keep his characters in red jackets. So I know they were available in a shop somewhere, so we might have to pick up a couple more of those. But that is going to be required for him to be able to continue using that Merton strategy.
And the good news is that Sabin is a vanilla red jacket wearer, so no problem there. He can just go pick up another for Sabin and continue on Merton everything in the world.
Yeah, typically when a character starts with Rage, they tend to start with a few more than they are in this seed. So I think that's been a very interesting equalizer for Hefe, is finding that mover in the desert, which, you know, it's not a very common place to go check for random encounters, but really paid off for Hefe in this case.
I was mistaken. Schwantz is doing the dragon. And it is the red dragon, which is weak to ice, and ice 2 is going to pay dividends. Ooh, Setzer for Hefe. We're up to character number 5.
I did not know there was an item there. How is that still happening to me?
You learn something new every day.
Every single day. Yeah, I didn't mention it earlier, but Hefe also grabbed the remedy that was hanging out in the sealed gate. Ooh, hello.
Hello. This is not what you want to see, but we'll just run from it. No big deal.
Yeah, gonna avoid that. I want to say Warp was on one of the Espers that our players started with. I might be thinking of something else, but oh.
No, I think Hefe picked up an Esper somewhere that has Warp. He just hasn't learned it yet.
I really love the animation for Doom, where it just like, especially when you use it on the Soul Train, or the Phantom Train, because it just like grabs the soul of this, you know, locomotive just pulls it right up.
Yeah, and I kind of mentioned this earlier in some other spots. One of the nice things about the Phantom Train is that if all of the ghost encounters that you could fight will be the same encounter throughout. So if this was a really desirable fight, Hefe could run through as many of them as his heart desired.
Yes, unfortunately, and the drops for Presenter aren't too good either, but there are a couple of bosses, typically ones that come out of Monsters in a Box, and then a couple of fights with Imperial soldiers and Magitech armor that do not give any experience points.
Ooh, speaking of experience.
Hey!
Hey. That's huge, though, because it does allow Schwartz to get one overpowered character, and now his fights will just go so much better for him if he can get Terra, up to level 30, above the scaling. She's kind of the carry right now.
Yeah, Rage putting in a lot of work on both players' screens right now. You'd love to see it.
A little brave flying there from Schwantz. He didn't save. Or, little risking it for the biscuit there.
I am losing it. I didn't know there was a thing there either.
Ooh. Yeah, Hefe's showing off quite a few different things. Wonder what else he'll show off.
Yeah, right? It's just... So yeah, gonna go ahead and fight this Spectre. See what it drops. Normally it's a... Oh, I didn't even catch it. Normally it's a...
Hyper Wrist.
Shoot. Hyper Wrist, thank you. Vigor Glove. Poison Claw. Thank you, chat. Yeah, that's not the best, but...
So Schwantz did something a little interesting there. The outside chest and the mirror of Sal Figueroa's house that kind of wraps around to where you warp through in the middle of the game. That little barrel can be an item in either world. Also, so can the item that's in the barrel that's kind of like on the runway. It's right where you walk in through the town entrance. I like this play from Schwantz here as well. Going to Walter and Nakia. This is a very place that almost nobody visits, so if there's something good here.
Yeah, that can be a good strategy if you feel like you're flagging. Go to a spot that people don't normally go to. Check Miranda, see if there's something lovely in the Miranda stand. Go into like World of Balance Jador, seeing if there's something good in the shops there.
He found some dragon boots, so it looks like he's going to capitalize on that. We do know where dragon horns are. Schwantz does not.
Yeah, fingers crossed that he figures that out. Finally give Mog something to do.
Ooh, there's a red jacket, but Schwantz is saying no bueno. More polar rods.
Hey, snipers too.
Yeah, sniper's not bad.
It is the top of the A tier for weapons. It's not, it's not one of the ones that is just going to automatically, where, like, for example, if you find an Illumina or if you find a Ragnarok, you're going to find a way to put that in your party. But finding a sniper can be really handy to shore up a character that doesn't quite have much to do right now. Pair it with an offering, you'll do pretty good in the final boss, too.
Yeah, sniper is one of those weapons that kind of gets slept on a little bit. In more giving flag sets, it's highly likely that you'll come across something that does a little better. Ooh, Schwantz does know where Dragonhorn was. I stand corrected. That Mog is about to put in some work now. Or excuse me, that lock.
Oh, interesting.
Very interesting. Slap that strength +2 on him. And Locke will pay dividends later. And now. Because Locke does have a decent strength stat to start with. It's no Yumaro strength level, but you get what you get.
Hefe, meanwhile, grabbing an extra set of the Dragoon relics, popping them on Sabin as well.
Alright, so it looks like Schwantz is going to unearth what Locke has for him in World of Ruin Narsh. We know this is going to be Ramu the Esper, unless for whatever reason he really wants an Aegis Shield. I suspect he will take the Esper, and he'll also probably grab the Curse Shield.
Yeah, might consider going back and getting that. Aegis Shield is pretty nice. It's got a lot of evasion on it, both magic and regular.
Yeah, it's a sad day when you're going back to the Nars Mines for an Aegis Shield, but that's kind of where we're at right now. The seed hasn't been a little cruel.
A little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, the flags are mean, but there's also a lot of pretty rough random number generating going on here as well.
Yeah, we've been slapped in the face with Magi Master. We've been slapped in the face with Doomgaze. A lot of nasty fights. None of the very lucrative ones so far, but we're only 55 minutes, and we got time. We may come across Gigantos or a Chaos Dragon, Aquilia. I think it's Aquilia. Chaos Dragon Aquilia. You find it in the Phoenix Cave. It's my favorite counter in the game because it's not as experience dense as the Gigantos, but they do have an elemental weakness, which is ice, and really poor magic defense. Plus, Chaos Dragons take like 5 turns before they actually do anything. Best fight in the game in my book.
Yeah, it's a good one. The best one, obviously, is the double Gigantos, which you can run into, that's worth more experience points than almost anything else in the game. But most of those endgame enemies have 1 or 2 little tricks that you can use to get through them. Like the Tyrannosaurs, for example, they're really tough, but they're also weak against ice. So if you happen to have Ice 2 or Ice 3, you might be able to get through those as well. Schwant's taking on his 3rd dragon here.
Locke's already doing 1,000 damage a jump. That's
Hey!
a little slow, but very good.
So yeah, we'll see. This is... Hefe definitely got up and running faster than Schwantz did, but Schwantz is 3 dragons deep to Hefe's 0. So if Schwantz goes and makes some interesting calls with checks after this, they might be able to pull ahead in terms of progression.
I hold your tongue there, because you say Schwantz is 3 dragons deep, but
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah, we don't jinx the man. We already tried that.
That's right.
I think we're past the point where it's fun to jinx them. Now it's just cruel and inhumane. So we'll positive vibes only.
What if I do it by accident, though?
That's okay. That's understandable.
All right, cool.
Yeah.
I'll continue to do it by accident then.
Okay. Oh no, not Quake.
Oh god, I did it by accident.
No. Stop it. Whatever you did, Turdsman, do the opposite.
Not talking?
Alright.
Whew, okay.
3 dragons down.
Durgan goes down.
Yeah. Locke doesn't live to tell the tale, but that's... Hey, we got through. We'll take what we can get. Let's see what this item here is here for Schwantz.
Oh!
Oh, that's interesting.
Okay,
That's
he's got a lot of characters that can use that. That's pretty handy.
Yes, indeed. And one of them has an experience egg. I can see Schwantz's actual stream, and he just sat up straight. He knows we're about to start cooking. Schwantz knows how huge that was.
Oh, he's paying attention now.
Yeah, and he has that gauntlet. I don't think you do the gauntlet experience egg right now. I think you maybe just...
No, that's for later.
Yeah, let the levels come, and we'll slap on that gauntlet later. Yeah, Schwantz is buckled in now. It's go time. The seed has given him a blessing, and let's see if he can capitalize. Meanwhile, Hefe is through the Barren Falls check, which is one of Saban's checks. We'll find out what we get. This could be a character Esper item, but we'll find out if it's a character or not based on the music that plays. Well, actually, I stand corrected. We're playing Schwantz's music, so that will not indicate anything for us for Hefe.
Yeah, we'll be able to tell if if Mog here gets up right away, then it'll be something else. But it looks like it is character number 6.
Yeah. Who is it? It's Realm.
Hey! Maybe a little late in the seed to be able to utilize her.
Yeah, we also haven't found any good spells, so unless she has Magic Tech, Actually, if she has magic check, that would be game breaking because there is a random objective where we can unlock all of the extra magic deck if we just go save Sid at Solitary Island in the World of Ruin. But she has Sword Tech.
Sword Tech's not too bad without an Experience Egg or Cyan here to unlock the rest of them, though.
Yeah.
Might not be able to get her up and running fast enough.
Yeah,
Hefe's got a good team already, so.
Hefe's just parking anywhere. He's going on a road trip. He's taking the scenic route to Final Kefka. He's gonna see what's in these forests in the middle of nowhere.
I really like this. This is not a great, huge experience dense encounter, but I really like this strategy of if you don't like where your characters are at after a check, even if it wasn't a dead check, just go ahead and fight a random encounter or two just to stay ahead of scaling. Because at this point, the worst thing that can happen to one of these runners is to get locked behind something.
Yeah, as I touched on earlier, I suspect this won't be the last time we see somebody just go to a random spot for some fixed encounters because of the way the level scaling is. But unfortunately, nobody's really found a really good spot where there's a good fight. Everything's just it's either low level, or it's dangerous, or worthless.
Oh no!
In this case,
it's this guy.
Yeah. It's been a while since I've seen Siegfried.
The guy what takes forever.
Yeah. Yeah, it's been quite a while since I've seen one, so I'm glad Hefe's seeing it and not me.
Right, yeah.
Sorry, Hefe, but Senior Behemoth for Schwantz. So if Schwantz can get through this will give him saving. And hopefully that'll give some relief to Schwantz because he's down to that Doomgaze, Magimaster, or Mobilist type checks, which are gonna an interesting conundrum if that were the case. But this is giving him savings. This is gonna open up the world a little bit for him.
Yeah, this could put him on the same track that Hefe was on just about 10-15 minutes ago to grab that Setzer and possibly grab the Realm as well and get Schwantz up to 6 characters.
Another random stop on the road trip to Final Kefka for Hefe. Looks like he's way north of Narsh in a random mountain. I'm not sure if you go up there what type of counters you get. I'm not sure where the breakoff point is where you go to like saving scenario versus what you'll find in the opening plains, like where you find the Rabbites and whatnot.
Yeah, now that you mention it, I haven't really seen a map of that sort of thing. I know the one for Final Fantasy 1 is pretty famous because you can fight those
yeah, the peninsula
kind of mid-game, yeah, ogres, I think.
There is a point, probably sometime, where a very young Drinkslu flew the airship up there and played around. But as you saw earlier, we couldn't remember the boss Hefe fought 3 minutes ago. I have absolutely no recollection of what I found up there.
I don't think there was too much of that in the vanilla game. I know there's the Intangier fight on, Triangle Island in the World of Balance, but
that's the true final boss of the game.
You don't want to run into him.
No.
And then he gets his Sabin, finally gets a full party. Oh, Sabin has Sketch. That's adorable.
I didn't see the drop for this fight for Hefe, but this is a pretty good fight. There are better out there, but to be honest with you, this is the best fight anybody's come across so far out of the 30-ish fixed encounters. So I don't... Oh, Genji Glove.
Aha!
And a decent amount of money. That's no big swords yet to capitalize on that, but we know from Schwantz's screen at least one exists. But again, it's a pretty good fight from a Cyric standpoint, so...
Yeah, Hefe's still getting levels out of it. Might as well stick with it.
Alright, Schwantz is going to Imperial Camp, which is one of his freshly found savings checks. He'll fight 4 fixed encounters. I always love at this spot where in the NPC sprite you see the Imperial, so you see the little Imperial action, little Imperial tango, if you will.
Yeah, well, that's the guy that didn't realize, what was going on.
Yeah, he got confused. He got muddled on him, and he's level 3, and it was a level 3 muddle.
Maybe he was from Miranda. Got conscripted.
He may have drank the water, in Doma, which we don't advise.
No. That is not a fun purple. It's a bad purple.
No, Kefka, the water filtration system was a little broken the day the Imperial Army assaulted Doma Castle, unfortunately.
This is not an original idea or observation, but it's very funny to me that every single person in Doma Castle apparently drank water at the exact same time.
Yeah, that's a good point. Looks like we got a merchant fighting the NPC sprites. So no.
Also on Hefe's side, we got to. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, what did I miss?
Oh, Riot Blade. We got to see a precursor to limit breaks over
nice.
on Hefe's screen there. Normally it occurs, I want to say it's like 1 in 64 chance of selecting the fight command when a character has the near death status. We juice that up in Worlds Collide to, I want to say 1 in 32.
I think it's 1 in 32 by default, and then it's cut in half. But if somebody from our community is around and would like to correct me, correct away.
I remember that was a fun thing for back in the day to tell your friends that you totally found, and they will not believe you because it's nearly impossible to recreate it.
Hep is going into Kefka's tower. Looks like.
Huh.
So here's what's going on.
Aha.
Allow me to recap. I think what Hefe is doing now is he's going to do a full right claim clear of Kefka's tower. The reason being, he's going to fight 3 bosses. He will fight the Inferno ambush spot, he will fight the Guardian spot, and he will fight the Poltergeist spot. Those 3 boss fights will not increase his progression or his scaling, but they will increase his levels. And obviously, plus you can get the random drops for him. You can fight a dragon on the way if you so are inclined. Basically what he's doing is he's making his grinding phase and kind of making it work for him, or he's doing 2 birds with 1 stone. Because you have to do this later at some point in time anyways, so you might as well do it now where you don't push up the scaling. You can go ahead and loot in here if you want to, as he is doing. Plus, obviously, you get the levels for doing this.
Was there a skip attached to this one?
There is no skip.
Okay. So that's unfortunate, but yeah, I like this idea, especially with when you know that there's going to be a statue boss at the end there. It's nice to run into it now as opposed to later on when it's going to be as powerful as it possibly could be.
So this will be a little bit of walking from Hefe. Schwantz is going to do Barren Falls, which we know leads to Realm. See, I can remember things.
Yeah, there you go. It takes us a minute,
Alright.
We played this when it came out. That means we're old now.
We're all old. Everybody that's younger is playing probably Fortnite or something. Or NCAA 25, all the new games. Or Final Fantasy 7 Rebirth, which is a great game.
Maddens and whatnot. Yeah, that is really fun.
Rebirth is a great game, by the way, if you haven't got into it. I have a question for you, Turdsman.
Go for it.
If I like what I am seeing on the screen, if I would like to roll my own seeds and participate in Worlds Collide events in the community, how could I get started?
Well, we have a bunch of really handy tools to do that. There is the website, ff6worldscollide.com. You can go there for access to the page that lets you roll your own seeds, but it also gives you access to the community Discord, where you can talk to all of us weirdos. We love talking about Final Fantasy VI, as you can tell.
And dogs.
And dogs, yes.
Oh, yeah.
And food, as it turns out. So, yeah, head on over there. There's also a handy wiki page that lets you know what all the flags do, gives you some access to all the little guides that our community members have been making over the years. So yeah, ff6worldscollide.com. Come hang out with us on the internet.
Yeah, we have a fantastic community, so that if you're interested in learning Worlds Collide, whether you just want to start rolling your own seeds and experience what we have to offer, or if you would like to join competitive events like you see on screen, this is our Chaos Tournament of the Month, where we start with the 4 players, and we just whittle them out through various async races until we're left with 2 standing, and we crown one the champion. Then you know what we do the next month? We do it all again.
I think that might be my favorite part about this community in particular, is that a lot of the big events are asynchronous, which is very handy as somebody who is working swing shift for the most part. We have plenty of sync races going on throughout the week as well, but having the main ones be async makes it really handy for participation.
Yeah, the Chaos Tournament of the Month is an AC commit, but Schwantz and Hefe agreed to tear each other to shreds on screen for our entertainment, so thank you to them. My text-to-chat keeps going off on my phone for some silly reason. All types of technical difficulties tonight. Okay, Schwantz is going to get his realm. This is Blue Dragon for Hefe. Blue Dragon's a little spicier dragon than most.
Yeah, you wouldn't necessarily think it, but Blue Dragon has a bunch of HP and lots of AoE attacks that are all water elemental, which is not a common resistance to have access to.
Yeah, if you actually have a Flame Shield equipped, it makes the water element attack 2 times damage, which is a nice little surprise if you want to wear that.
Hefe takes care of him, though. The first dragon on the board for Hefe.
Alright, 6 dragons. Or excuse me, 6 characters, 5 espers, 1 dragon for Hefe. Did you just mark that dragon down?
I did.
Thank you.
I forgot that I'm also tracking.
No, I've been... we're tag teaming this thing. We got this. 5 characters, 7 espers, 3 dragons for Schwantz. So neck and neck. Hefe doing a little creative routing here. Schwantz still going around looking for his progressions. Again, what we need in Worlds Collide is we need to unlock the ability to fight Final Kefka and beat the game. To do that, we need to find 6 characters, 13 espers, or defeat 4 dragons, and we need to do 2 of those 3 requirements. Schwantz just needs 1 more character, which he's going to find here with his Zetzer, then he can do 1 more dragon. However, he was nowhere close to being able to defeat Final Kefka, so I suspect he may be doing what Hefe does, where he just goes in and does a full party clear.
Oh, I thought he was going to turn down that for a minute, but it looks like he is deciding to ditch Mog.
Yeah, he's parting way with Mog. Mog, thank you for your service. We appreciate you, but we're going to take Zetzer.
Never mind! Doesn't really like the health.
Alright, Mog, suit back up. You're back in.
Just kidding. You're not fired.
Yeah, we apologize. You didn't see nothing. It was nothing personal.
HR is going to get in trouble for this one.
Yeah, I think what that was is just if Setzer has a good ability, then you know who you're taking off for him.
Yeah.
Because he does want his 4th character. Because we're not steamrolling stuff. We're getting by the skin of our teeth here.
So, question from the chat: do you need all 3 requirements, or just 2 out of 3? You only need 2 out of 3. So it looks like both of our runners are going to be foregoing the Esper requirement, which, you know, makes a lot of sense. 13 that's a pretty big number. I want to say that's out of 24 total.
27.
27.
But I'll get the calculator out if anybody wants to dispute this. But I think 13 is double the number of 6. What do you think, Turdsman? Is that correct?
You know what? I think that's close enough for our purposes.
Yeah, we'll round it up. But obviously, 6 characters is much easier to find than 13 espers. Sometimes it doesn't feel that way, but most of the case that will be what's going on.
I really like what Hefe did here. He took his full party and put them in a specific area where they can loop back around to catch another dragon. So this brings, if Hefe gets through this gold dragon, that's going to bring him up to 2, and then he can continue on with whichever lane that this character is going to end up in. Might not be the middle one, but at the very least is going to be able to take out a statue after this.
Oh no, this will be the middle one because this is the party that can cross over. Here's a question for you though, Starsman. If you're happy, are you going back and saving here? Because we've now killed 2 dragons. We've done quite a bit of walking. If we take this Guardian fight and it is no bueno, that is a lot of time we will lose, and we can kind of avert that if we go back and save.
I would probably want to, but it might be a little bit of a time sink, and I think In Hefe's case here, I think he's probably feeling pretty good about it. He's still got Merton on deck. He has 2 jumpers, so Locke and Terra are going to be taking a majority of the damage, and Locke has that Paladin shield on still, so...
Alright.
I think you go bold on this one.
No risk it, no biscuit. Genji Glove for his troubles. Looks like he's walking up. We'll find out here if he's going to safety save or if he's going to power through. Left turn means we're powering through.
There we go.
This is smart though. I would heal up because
Oh yeah.
maybe in a normal scenario I wouldn't, but because of such the time loss you are risking here, if this is a spicy fight, I'd go ahead and heal up.
That was an expensive Cure 1.
Yes, it was. Alright, pivotal moment. Ooh, this is interesting.
Okay, not bad.
Not bad, but a little spicy. I think he'll be okay, though.
Not going to be able to use Merton on this one, unfortunately. Atma is a weird beast. He is vulnerable, but not weak to the big 3, fire, ice, and lightning. And I think he absorbs every single other element. So unfortunately, Merton, as a fire and wind combo move, the wind absorption cancels out the fire vulnerability.
Pop quiz, Herdsman. What are the 8 elements in Final Fantasy VI?
All right, I got this. You got fire, ice, lightning.
Okay.
Wind.
Nice.
Poison.
Beautiful.
Poison. Water.
There we go.
Uh-oh. Holy.
One more.
Oh god, Earth. I can't believe I forgot
There
Earth.
we
I guess
go.
there's one Earth spell, so...
Well, it depends on how you feel about Torado.
Oh, right. I guess I don't, because I forgot it existed.
Alright, Hefe is through the Atma fight. That is huge. Now he gets access to a save point. Meanwhile, Schwantz is doing Schwantz things. He now has Zetzer, which I did not mark down. Let me take care of that. Oh, sorry, that's...
So yeah, Schwantz just, heading back up to Nakia. I guess more Pearl Rods, maybe. Meanwhile, Hefe running into Doom.
Ooh. So,
Alright.
the 3 statue fights, the Warring Triad, which consists of Doom, Poltergeist, and Goddess, are shuffled amongst their original spots. So we will have some tough fights waiting for us at the end of Kef's Tower. But Hefe is aware of that, that's why he's doing this full tower clear. What he also might do is he also might take advantage of the save point after this, and take one of his other parties and initiate the statue fight. And what that will do is that will just tell him what the fight is, and he just resets out, and then he can know that for preparation in the future.
Not a bad idea. Also handy is Merton clearing off the nasty freezing status ailment there.
Yes, indeed. You think Hefe is going to be doing Rage Merton on the final fight? That's a little risky.
Oh, that's a good point, yeah. Might want to try to find something else for Terra to do before then. Yeah, a little bit of Merton chat in the chat. I'm also a huge fan of Merton. I kind of like it more than Ultima. It's just, I mean, it's de facto more interesting, but also it comes out a little bit faster. It tends to be a little bit less expensive for MP costs, and has the added benefit of via equipment being the best healing spell in the game.
Yeah, there are a number of items you can use to negate Merton more than you would realize, like the Rage Ring and the Blizzard Orb, for example. Not just the commons like the Paladin Shield and the Flame Shield. There's other options to take advantage of it. You can also jump over it. You can initiate a Rage that negates fire or wind damage.
Yeah.
You can get creative with some of the ways you get around it. Or you can just go, well, if, let one of your party members eat it. And,
right, yeah. Sorry, buddy. But
yeah, maybe watch
the breaks.
The fight, from the bench.
So yeah, it looks like Schwantz is doing the same thing here. Gonna run everybody up the right-hand side. Only needs one more dragon, so he's only gonna have to fight the one, but probably gonna take this party through to fight that Doom as well.
Yeah, Hefe is going to come out of here, and he's going to need 2 more dragons. But there are some pretty accessible dragons out in the world, such as the Opera House Dragon, or he can do the Narsh Dragon, which Schwann's demonstrated earlier. And if he does do that dragon, he will get a Ragnarok for his troubles.
That is a good list. I want to say that the Blizzard Orb only halves fire damage, though.
It absorbs it? Wind.
Oh,
So
okay.
that's why it goes...
right. Thundershield. Right, I forgot about the wind part, yes. It's hard to remember that that spell also involves wind.
Hefe's having his Realm fight Poltergeist. I don't know if he's punishing Realm here or what's going on.
Yeah, this is a strange decision.
She does have the Paladin Shield, which doesn't... Yep,
Wait.
Good heads up reset there. After Poltergeist stops a character, if you don't know what comes next, it's Blaster, and Blaster is no bueno.
Yeah, deciding against it. I like the attempt, at the very least, but yeah, a low-level realm is unfortunately not going to be able to make it through here. And this one's going to be Goddess, so yeah, okay, yeah.
I don't think the
Hefe realizing, like, that's not going to work out either.
Abort, mission abort, it's okay.
I mean, that's basically just, like, the mission was a success, he just couldn't get any of the bonus objectives.
So, good question, Outer Butter. So actually what happens if you have something that negates instant death attacks, Poltergeist gets stuck in a loop where he just keeps trying to blaster that person and he can't. So it's a nice little, it's something you can take advantage of, but it's kind of one of those things where it's really hard to get it to line up. You need him to blaster a character that you don't want to act. So basically you need RNG to be in your favor. So you're more like, you're better off just trying to get through it under normal circumstances where you just fight him in a normal fight.
That can work as an emergency, like, uh-oh strategy if you happen to run into that situation, but not typical, not terribly ideal.
A better situation is just like when you fight him at a side statue fight and you have your mule. What you do is you just throw that safety bit of momentum ring on your mule, and if he blasters them, then he just kind of looped himself. But you don't want to kind of stand around waiting for it to happen because it takes a while for it to come back to his script where he can cast stop, and it's just very low RNG of that happening.
Yeah, honestly, a better way around it would be to equip a reflect ring, I think wall ring, in this one, because Poltergeist is weak to stop, so he will try to stop a character, and if that character happens to have reflect, then it will bounce right back and hit him, because you are rubber and he is glue.
Yeah, nothing you say, Matt. Hey, no, I'm glue.
Wait a minute, actually, no, you're glue.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Thank you. Hefe back on his Dragon Quest. This will be Dragon number 3.
Dragon Quest 3 is a good one.
Here's a good one for you. It's technically faster to get to the Phoenix Tower Dragon than it is the Narsh Dragon, but the problem is you have to fight that dragon with only magic spells, and magic spells haven't been very giving, so we wouldn't be able to do it. So I don't think Hefe goes that route.
Yeah, I think I saw Ice 3 on somebody, which isn't bad, but haven't seen the Ice Dragon yet, so...
No, it's bad. It's bad.
We have seen the Fire Dragon as well, so that's not going to run into the guy that's weak to it.
Ice Shield for Hefe. Alright, while Schwantz is traversing the tower, Hefe will be going to Narsh for Dragon number 4, and thus he will unlock the ability to engage Final Kefka in a fight. Obviously, once he progresses through the last 2 statue fights that await him back in the tower.
Which likely aren't going to give him too terribly much trouble. He'll be able to make 2 parties of 2 as opposed to 3 parties of 1, 1, and 2.
Yeah, I think when it's all said and done, Hefe is going to make his way back to the tower before Schwantz is kind of done with his fights here. So
Yeah, I think
Hefe
you're
will
right.
be a little ahead, but Hefe has been very dependent on that Merton. And it is
Yeah,
very risky to rage a character during the final fight.
I am going to be really interested to see if Hefe is going to make a sharp pivot with Terra before the end. Possibly not. I can imagine, you know, after a seed this rough, you kind of get your eyes on the prize and you just sort of deal with, you know, whatever it ends up throwing at you after the fact. Like, even if he loses Terra, he's got Lock and Sabin doing big jump damage, and he has Mog, I think, doing a lot of little support things, but
It could be an easy pivot, though, once he gets this Ragnarok from the dragon.
That's
the Ice
true.
Dragon. Oh, he's doing the Tritok spot. That gives Schwantz a little more time to close the gap. Only Welk here.
Oh, interesting.
I think this was an Esper for Schwantz, so thus it will be an
It
Esper
was.
for Hefe.
He's just going for it.
No risk it, no biscuit, my dog.
Welk is an obnoxious guy to find at the end of the game. Not a lot of HP, he can't really hit you that hard, but boy, he can be obnoxious if you don't have really strong single target attacks.
You know what? That's another good point for the final fight. Hefke is very reliant on Merton. 2 of his characters are jumping around, jumping on the mattresses when they're not supposed to. That is, you know, getting him through this, but on the final fight, there are order of operations to the tiers of Final
Yes.
Kefka, and you can't really dictate where that damage lands when you're jumping and doing Merton at will, against your will.
Yeah, especially that first tier, too. Like, that's where it could really start going sour, because I don't think we've seen Float on anybody yet.
So Rage will reset when you transfer between tiers, but also keep in mind that, you know, your tier 1 and your 2 tier are your longest tiers from a time standpoint and an acting standpoint, and that's really just a lot of time for something to go south, especially on tier 2 when some of your non-Rage characters can get a status element inflicted upon them, and you can't do anything about it with your Rage character, so you could easily cripple yourself if the order of operations are not met.
I am terribly sorry. I have to step away for a quick second.
Go right ahead, Tersman. Looks like Schwantz is done with his Atma spot. So after this, he will just have the Poltergeist spots, which we know is doomed by virtue of a Hefe. And then he will warp out of Kefka's Tower. I think we're going to line up to a spot where we are entering Kefka's Tower with the same things we need to fight from both runners. And that's about as close as a race as you can hope for in these circumstances. Yeah, Utter Butter in the chat making a great point. With that order of operations, there are some death counters on multiple parts on Tier 1 and Tier 2. And some of those death counters are crippling if you trigger them before you're able to recover for them. For example, on Tier 1 there are 3 parts, long arm, short arm, and then the head. The head will trigger Quake if it is the last part killed before you finish up the tier. And Quake is just a powerful spell overall. And as you've seen, you know, our runners are in the 30s for their levels. That's good enough to get through Final Kefka in the fight. That's more than enough. But when you're doing untargetable answer, you don't really have much room for error at that level, so you kind of need to be able to take advantage of those tiers and killing them with the knowledge of the correct order. Second visit to the Colosseum for Hefe, and it's not any better than his first visit. Nothing going right for him there.
Sorry about that.
Looks like Hefe is going to unearth some other weapon shops and item shops for us. I think he's kind of coming to the same realization that I was talking about. Jump isn't ideal for the final fight. You maybe want to come across something else, something more targetable, something you can control. Ooh, Fire 3 gets him there.
Like Fire 3, yeah, that works.
Clutch. Yeah, Setzer's collagen in check coming in clutch.
Because that's just for the final fight too. Like up to that point, Terra is going to be putting in good work. So as long as Terra can learn that Fire 3, then he's pretty much set.
That Fire 3 did have a learn rate of ×1 though. So basically we need to acquire 100 ability points to learn it. And we're going to fight a statue fight and get, what was the multiplier? I think it was ×6, so we'll get 60. But 60 times 1 is 60, not 100, so we won't learn it from that one fight.
Sadly, no.
But that's alright, we have some checks. We'll do Search the Skies and see if we can get some other ability points that way. Alright, Swats is peeking the other statue bosses so he can line up his party in an optimal order when he comes back in.
This is a smart play. So you know where Goddess is. That one's probably the scarier one. You're a little bit more limited in what you're capable of doing against Goddess.
Yeah, as long as you are not dependent on the Pearl damage or Thunder damage, Goddess is very manageable. His Ragnarok character will have some interesting conundrums because there's an ability called Love Token, which is interesting because that you can bypass it with a few things, but it will basically make a character body shield, almost cover like Cecil does in Final Fantasy IV for her. That was the Valiant Knife for Hefe, but
it was.
Yeah.
No offering, unfortunately. Nobody went down to the ancient castle to grab that monster in a box down there with an offering, but Valiant Knife's still a really powerful weapon. I might consider popping that on somebody. Yeah, Terra can't use it, unfortunately, but could pop it on Locke and then maybe shuffle some equipment around again, but we'll see where Hefe goes once he gets into near the final boss.
Yeah, that Valiant Knife will ignore defense, which will come very much in handy against Poltergeist, who has auto, I think it's auto shell and auto haste. It's either auto shell or auto deck. I think it's auto shell.
I think it's safe.
I think it's both.
It's probably both.
Yeah, it's.
He's a jerk. It's probably both.
Yeah, he probably has big guard some way, and we don't realize it.
Oh, I thought he's selling items. I thought Hefe just bought 4 Magicite for some reason. I was like, whoa, this is a strategy we're about to see here.
Man, we gotta get creative somehow. I think Schwantz's levels are a little better, and he's not as dependent as jump as Hefe is, so he's going straight back in. I think Poltergeist will be the real turning point for Schwantz because he has a great way to pierce its high defense, but he may be able to just power through another way somehow. He does have that Paladin shield, which makes him not quite invincible, but it makes him very, very tanky. It will make a character very, very tanky in either of these fights.
And that wouldn't be a bad thing to combo with a jumper also. Put the Paladin shield on whoever's not using the Dragoon boots and horn. That way, if a stray Flare Star comes out, then that character isn't going to be hurt too. Although I guess there's a bunch of red jackets floating around too, honestly. Alright, Hefe making the big important decisions here.
Yeah, looks like his... I think he's in the wrong party. There he goes, he realizes it. You could manipulate it so that works out that way, but more traditionally you'll see players, as a force of habit, if you want to fight, the right lane will actually end up from that middle spot, and the left lane will end up from the left lane, and those are the two statues that we have left.
Yeah, essentially you can arrange them in almost any order, but it's best to not accidentally goof it up, especially considering there's no save before you get all the way up to those switches.
Alright, Schwartz is at the Promised Land. He's just got to rearrange the furniture a little bit, and everybody else will be joining him.
Got to move some 4-ton weights.
All told, Hefe's going to take the Toilet Atma spot, and it is Ultros 3.
Well, this is easy at least.
Yeah.
Get a couple quick levels maybe.
Plus, it will give him a high tier item, and best of all, it won't push up the scaling for the last bosses that we
Yes.
have left.
Wow, after a pretty wide divergence in the middle, our runners have ended up with the exact same counts for characters, espers, and dragons. It's pretty fun.
The espers, really interesting, but I always touched on earlier. I always thought that it's going to be six characters and 4 dragons.
Yeah.
You really would have needed like a Terra and a Save and Start because they both have access to 5 checks, and then just some awful RNG to get the 13 espers before you got to 6 characters. It is possible. It's just really unlikely. Almost crueler than the Magi Master we saw earlier.
Definitely. That is Orlance number 4 for Hefe.
Alright, out comes Stop on Sabin, who is somebody you want as a willing participant for this fight. Well, I like this from Schwantz. He's just gonna pro
Yeah.
yeah. Don't get cute. Just get
Exactly. Just take care of this business.
Yeah, just get on with that. What you're gonna do. It doesn't matter how you look. All that matters is that you get there.
He's got 7 pearl rods, and you can't take him into the next seed, so might as well crack him now.
Yeah, you can't take those home with you. Alright, so at this level, we're not at max scaling yet, but we're pretty close to it. Max scaling was level 56, so we're dealing with a pretty high level Poltergeist. So we're going to see top end of the abilities like Flare Star, like Northern Cross, Southern Cross, and we're going to have about, I think we're going to have about 45 kill HP. That would be my estimate. What we're dealing with here.
Yeah, that sounds about right. I think, ability scaling hit its maximum a lot sooner than the actual level scaling would. So you're running into some nasty abilities, but I want to say these bosses are probably around level 40 or so, maybe closer to like 38 or 37.
Well, we have 17 pieces of
16,
progression,
17.
and it's times 3.
Oh, it's times 3.
Yeah,
I
so
forgot.
we're about level 51.
Yeah, never mind.
Plus a few. So actually, I take that back. We could be at max scaling. Now the HP multiplier is 2 instead of 3. So a little bit lower than that for an HP standpoint, but doesn't matter. All our math is for naught. Poltergeist is down for Schwantz. One fight.
The only
before.
The only math that matters is 5 pearl rods.
Yep.
Once again, 5 is the most important number in this game.
You see what I see on Schwantz's screen? He does have 1 warp stone, so he could accidentally warp out. That would be backbreaking.
I did see that.
Yeah, plus he doesn't have a lot going on from a restorative standpoint.
He does have Cure 3. It's pretty pricey, and I don't know.
I don't know. Alright. We're on to the goddess fight. Hefe's doing a little furniture rearranging himself, and he's done. And now Hefe will begin his Poltergeist / goddess fights.
Pretty close behind, actually, even with those couple of extra bosses that Hefe fought.
Yeah, he's 1 boss behind plus a little animation time. Schwantz is doing a little reorganizing. I think he was shuffling the Paladin shield over to his party that's going to fight Goddess here.
And it looks like Hefe's doing the same thing, actually. That's going to be a critical item to get through these 2 statue fights. Making 1 character just functionally invincible to magic, other than Flare, is pretty handy to have. Oh, just Swanch is just like, bye. I'll see you later, man. You can do whatever you want down here. It's not really my business.
yeah, no big deal here. We'll just jump over everything you have to throw. Well, except for this one, but
It's gonna be interesting to see the actual, like, oh wow, that's some damage out of Sabin there.
yeah, that's pretty impressive. Hepe still relying on that Merton Rage.
He's putting in work here, but thankfully, the other fun little bit here is since Goddess is facing Terra, that means that does that mean that Sabin's getting that bonus from jump?
No.
Because no,
You
okay.
don't get a back attack. So whatever arm Goddess has pointing up in the air, that is technically her backside. So that if it's on the left side, the party on the left side can get the damage bonus for doing a back attack. But jump unfortunately does not count for that.
They just beat that boss at basically the same. That's cool.
That's almost harmonious. That's just slightly off, but
That is really fun.
yeah.
So yeah, they're neck and neck now after kind of jockeying for first place for a little while. Both of these runners are side by side. Oh, wait, no. Completely wrong. Schwantz already took care of Poltergeist.
Yeah. Hepe one boss behind. Schwantz is on his switches. So, a fun little game we like to play in the Final Fantasy VI Worlds Collide community is we like to guess a little Price is Right game with how long it will take Schwantz to defeat Final Kefka. The time we take into account is from the gong at the start of the fight to the crack pow of Tier 4. For a reference for your time estimates, about 10 minutes is an average Final Kefka fight. You can do it in 6 or 7 if you have S tier offense plus very high levels. Schwantz is a little closer to the average than the S tier stuff going on. So with that in mind, I am going to make a prediction of 12 minutes and 34 seconds.
I think I'm going to come in a little bit under. I'm going to say 8:55.
8:55.
I think he's going to pull out some tricks here at the end.
And I believe 1:41:37 was the start time. Outer Butter, you're coming in so clutch tonight. We appreciate you, my dog.
Yeah, thanks, man.
Yeah. We obviously don't know what we're doing, so we need all the help we can get. Alright, so as I mentioned a little briefly on it, we'll expand on it a little bit. Tier 1 of Final Kefka has 3 parts. The long arm, which is technically his right arm, the left arm, or as we call it, short arm, and then the third and final piece of this tier is the head, which is the big angry looking thing up top. I don't know if that guy didn't get a lot of sleep, what's going on, or if he just doesn't like you in general. Very angry looking. What do you think, Tersman?
I don't know. I think he's maybe just grimacing. Like, there's a lot of stuff on his back right now. He's holding up this whole statue, so I think he's just more like, ugh, oh man.
That is a good point. Maybe he's just, trying to hold up all that weight, and he obviously can do it because he's maintaining very good posture with all those tiers ahead of him. So he's obviously, you can see the muscles, but all that.
Oh yeah, look at him.
Gotta strain a little bit.
So it does look like, despite the inability to target with some of these attacks, it looks like Schwantz has done a pretty good job of taking care of the problem parts first.
The problem parts, as we mentioned very briefly earlier, there's an order of operations to the Final Kefka fights in the various tiers. Schwantz very elegantly displays on how you want to handle Tier 1. On Tier 2, there are 4 parts. We have Tiger Face, which is, I'll let, if you don't know, you'll see here in a second. Actually, you can already see he's coming on up. We have Hit, who is the front part, the very physical-looking guy. Not quite as swole as the guy in Tier 1, but he still punches pretty hard. And all he does is punch. He has a death counter you will look out for. It is called 10 hits, where he does just that. He just fires off 10 physical attacks if he dies, when he dies, excuse me. We have a part called Tools in the middle of Tier 2. That part is susceptible to instant death. Also weak to Bolt. And then last, and definitely not least, we have Magic, the guy pointing to the left, like there's something over there to see. All he does is a bunch of nasty magic attacks. But, good thing he is not immune to mute. Schwantz knows that. We mute him. Now he's been neutralized.
Yep, now he doesn't do nothing. Ooh, and Doom works on tools there. There are the 2 different pieces of Tier 1 and 2 that you can deal with via instant death, which is very handy to have.
Yes, indeed. Tiger Face down on the bottom, he is weak to ice. Hit has no status, or excuse me, elemental weakness. He's not immune to everything. Oh no, Doom Tusk. Oh no, what a clutch block.
Ooh, block.
Yeah, when Tiger Face has under 10,400 HP left, he will do an AoE attack, and he can fire off Doom Tusk after that. If he gets a hold of the wrong character with Doom Tusk, that can barely go south on you very, very fast.
Meanwhile, Hefe getting through Poltergeist. Took him a
well.
little bit longer. Didn't have the pearl rods to crack, so had to kill him the old-fashioned way.
Schwantz still fired away. Looks like Hefe may do some Esper shuffle. Esper and Paladin shuffle here before he begins this final fight.
Came across a snow muffler at the end there. That's a very handy thing to have.
Did he get that from the Poltergeist fight, or was that?
I think so. Yeah.
I wonder if Schwantz got that, or if he noticed he got that. Here comes 10.
He had to have gotten it at least, but oh, yep.
10 hits. Oh, so.
Oh, that's a lot of damage in the back row from that, actually.
No, it looks like that hit on Mog was a critical. Okay, we are good here as long as we don't get any unfortunate criticals. We have passed 10 hits. Schwantz is cooking with gas now.
Yeah, using a Senior Behemoth Rage for Terra at the bottom there just to get some Fire 3 cast at the end.
Yeah, it's a little risky to Rage on Final Kek at any part, but when you have all the pieces to deal with Tier 1 and 2, in this case it's the Death and Mute, makes it a little safer. That's a death counter because he's muted. And we're on the Tier 3.
And just the 1 death counter, too.
Yeah, no quarter.
Sometimes, I want to say it's... he can do Dispel once or twice, and then he has a chance to do Quarter.
Yeah, there's 3 possible outcomes. It's 4. It's either Quarter, Dispel, 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 1 Dispel, or absolutely nothing. So 2 Dispels, but we don't have anything that he could Dispel anyways up on Schwantz's screen, so it's really a worthless attack, just a little time waste.
And here we are. This is Tier 3. This is the most terrifying one to me.
Yeah, because we do have Golem. Golem will negate a attack we call Calmness. Calmness is the death counter of Sleep, who is the guy on the right side of the screen. He will do a single target physical attack that inflicts the wound status. He will always do it 1 time, and then he has a 1 in 3 chance of firing it off twice. Golem will block that for us. But that's not the only scary part about that guy. He will do some unfortunate things at the wrong time always, it seems like, as you whittle his HP down. One of those things is Meteor.
Yep, a multi-target magic attack that thankfully has kind of low accuracy for a magic attack, but completely ignores defense. So will do around 1,200 to 1,500 damage to every character that it hits.
Yeah.
And it does that once it gets down below 10,236? Something like that.
Yeah, well, we won't price right at that number, but it's close. It's slightly above 10,000. And he will counter with Meteor, so when he's in that phase. So it is kind of awkward when you can't break the damage cap. There are a few ways you can break the damage cap in Final Fantasy VI and do more than quad 9 damage in a turn. An offering and a very valuable weapon, for example, but Schwantz really doesn't have any of those things. And even if he gets all 4 jumps off on a jump character, he's not getting there, so he's going to eat a Meteor. Here comes 1. Oh no, here comes 2. Oh, some clutch blocking, but Terra didn't get the memo. Oh, she did! I apologize!
She just dodged him.
I was not familiar with Terra's game. Out comes the Pearl Rod.
This might be enough.
That might be enough. Just enough.
Alright, the big hand comes out, takes care of these calmnesses.
Very well done.
So we might be able to ask Schwantz, I think, because the safety bit and the memento ring does not work on that.
We will be asking because he has a very expressive face right now. But again, he is sat up straight in the chair. His eyes are on the screen. Schwantz is locked in. Can he finish this?
He is chomping on that gum.
Yeah, I've never seen a man or a human being so dedicated, so locked in right now as Schwantz is. Schwantz is on the cusp of another title, and he could smell it. Yeah, great heads-up play there from Schwantz on these various tiers. If you character is in the air with a jump attack, while you finish a tier, they will immediately land before the next tier starts, and that's a nice little way to squeeze in some extra damage on the various parts of Final Kefka. Turdsman, how much does HP does Tier 4 Final Kefka have?
Ooh, I know it's not the maximum number that a Super Nintendo can make, but it's pretty close. I want to say, I'm gonna guess 56k.
Very, very close, my friend. He had 62,000 HP on the dot. You can almost surmise this fight into two tiers. Tier 1 we call the Fallen 1 tier, where Kefka will do Fallen 1 on his first turn, and then do it later on in the fight, as long as he has more than 30, if not done more than 30,000 damage to him. Once you have more than 30,000 damage to him, everything kind of pivots. He will start to use a attack called Goner, and he very politely lets you know that Goner is coming, because he informs you that the end becomes beyond chaos. Screen starts shaking. He clones himself for some reason. Just gets real weird, but nevertheless, you know that Goner is coming, and Goner is a multi-target AoE attack that does not ignore defense, so you can kind of whittle down the damage if you're higher levels with very good equipment, but it does hurt.
So Schwantz is out of Phoenix Downs at this point, so he has to be very careful about not bringing up any more counterattacks.
Yeah, very careful indeed. So Kefka will not counterattack while he is in Goner phase. So we kind of want to get a full send here. We're going to break those rods. We might even take that ice shield and throw it at him. Schwantz is thinking, what's the move here? Out comes Goner. Yeah, Goner's going to do quite a bit of damage here, but I think his characters should be just enough to survive.
Here comes that Pearl Rod. Let's hope that doesn't...
Pivotal moment. If this doesn't finish it, we're at risk of getting an Ultima, because we're in the fourth quarter of this fight. Ooh, that was...
Okay.
Oh, no!
Oh, even better than no counterattack.
Even better. GG's to Schwantz.
That was very scary at the end there.
That was on the cusp of it.
Wow, yeah, that means that Kefka was that close to dying at that point. That is spooky.
That was... I thought we were in the 50,000 damage range, or 50,000 damage done, but obviously I was way off. So GG's to Schwantz. We're gonna get Schwantz in here and talk about what he just did.
There he is. How's it going, Schwantz?
Yeah, GG's, my dog.
Congratulations.
What up, fellas? Thanks.
Yeah, we want to talk to you about the events that just transpired on your screen. It took you a little while to get going. You were very...
Understatement.
Maybe a little vocal off stream about that. Let's talk about that opening, Schwantz. What were you looking for to get going there and get the seed walking and rolling?
Yeah, so I noticed that shops, you could buy whatever you wanted. It was just going to cost you a bit. So I was hoping to find some rods and shops in order to, take a first dragon off the bat, or go right to a boss off the bat. Maybe take off the Moogle Charm and get some levels. I had... taken off the Moogle Charm and got Chatternook, which was one of the 33%. I guess I coin flipped incorrectly there. And I'm like, oh, this is great, actually, because this boss is weak to Pearl.
Yeah.
And I have a whole stack of Pearl Rods to throw at this thing. But yeah, with having 3 extra Espers on board, we had some Chonk bosses to start the seed. So you had to find a grind fight that you could throw a rod or two at. And eventually I did. Not before seeing Magimaster and Doomgaze and Chatternook, and I'm like, I don't like you, Seed, very much. Not at all.
And you didn't run into it, but there was also hiding in the Figaro basement that Hefe found at like I think it was like 3 minutes and 50 seconds or something like that.
Yeah,
It was like,
there-
oh, never mind.
Yeah, I mean, again, if you have a pearl rod, maybe, but I think had we not gotten saddled with 3 Terabad Espers, and the 4th one from the Sealed Gate Cave was also not much more helpful. There was really nothing you could do except pray to RNGesus that Terra does the thing that you want her to do, right?
Yeah, speaking
And throw money at the problem.
And speaking of the thing you want Terra to do, so Hefe did kind of take the lead there in the first quarter. He did some fights in the Figaro Desert, and he came across Mover. Do you want to share with the audience what Mover does?
I believe Mover is either Blowfish or Merton, and certainly with which one is it?
It is Martin, and he found
Okay.
red jackets for sale, and everybody and their grandma could wear a red jacket, it seemed like.
Oh yeah.
So he
Red
capitalized on that, Merton. He flew through the Elite River at a much brisker pace than you did. Where you made up some time, though, was those dragon fights. That Ragnarok was huge. Hefe did find the Ragnarok, but much later in the seed. And I don't mean to brag on you a little bit, but we saw that facial expression. You sat up straight. You were locked in when you saw that Ragnarok.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, Ragnarok experience. And
Ragnarok Shudder's like, all right, now we're playing a video game. Let's go.
Finally, the gods hath bestoweth me with something that I can use, right?
Finally, a sword.
Yeah.
So my strategy usually with these Chaos Seeds is it's usually, find either characters or espers or dragons, 2 of the 3. So my general strategy, unless the dragon number is like 6 or 7, is to go to dragons as early as you possibly can. One, because they do drop that high tier item if you're looking for some sort of offense, right? But secondly, especially like something like with Locke with Phoenix Cave, right? Normally runners are like, this is a terrible check. But if you want to take the dragon there and you go and get your reward, you can kind of tell where the seed will kind of tell you, hey, go get characters or go get espers, depending upon what those dragon checks will yield out to you, right? So that was sort of my idea in pinning up a dragon early, besides the fact that I got pearl rods and wanted to just chuck them, eat them at the dragon. The only one that I couldn't beat with that was probably white dragon, right? Because that absorbs those pearl rods. But yeah, so that's more of like a meta strategy for some of these chaos flags, is to gravitate towards dragons and dragon checks, because usually they're going to be one of your 2 Kefka unlock objectives there.
A little touch base on Kefka. He is wrapping up his tier 4. His Terra is mertening away, plus healing some characters. Hefe did switch to a very unique strategy where he found the dragon horns and the dragon boots, and he is leaning heavily into that. Out comes Goner. Hefe will be done here just shortly.
That was almost very bad. For some reason, Locke, I guess, is so slow that when I went to queue up the Pearl Rod, it wasn't before Kefka had Goner go off. So Goner went off. My team was all in like the 1100s for HP, and Locke had that Pearl Rod queued up. Had it not done enough damage to kill him, I might have made an ultimate counter, and we'd be staring at a half a GG for the win for this race. So really, anything could have gone in this particular seed. I kind of figured I was behind in the beginning after all the stumbling blocks, and seeing how easy Elite River was compared to the shenanigans I was trying to get myself up to. But yeah, that's sometimes how it is. So when that happens, you sort of have to go, all right, well, time to power through some checks and just, do scarce shopping. I was looking for another build for my characters when I found the Aura Lance, and I was like, well, if I could find Boots and Horn in the shop, it would be nice. So on my way up to go get my other dragon at World of Ruin Narsh, I found the horns in the one shop, and World of Ruin Ikea is literally right there, and it's a shop that nobody really ever checks. So I was glad to have dug them out of there for 2 of my characters anyway.
So there were horns in another spot. There are actually boots and horns in one of the Albrooks, which Hefe capitalized on early on. He had that Aura Lance, and his Mog was jumping at level 3 from the get-go. That
Oh,
is
nice.
how he got off the ground. GG's to Hefe. Hefe wraps up
Excellent
his tier
job.
4 with
Much
That
more
was
efficient.
scary.
with a time of 1:59.27. So a little over 7-minute difference between the two runners tonight.
Yeah, so with Hefe, I know he is one of the champions of weird, quirky chaos flag sets. So I was not going to take anything for granted in this particular race. I know he is one of the best when it comes to knowing how all these individual sort of options interact with one another, right? So trying to get a leg up knowledge-wise is probably not going to happen. I was just hoping execution would help me out. It sounds like it sort of caught up at some point during the seed, especially having the better builds a little bit earlier on, right? So
Yeah, Hefe did quite a bit of searching for that sweet spot in the grind fights. He was going to the northern end of Water Balanced Stars. He couldn't find anything. He was searching the Sabin scenario landscape, couldn't find anything. We're not entirely sure a really good grind spot existed, but we'll get Hefe in here as well to ask him his thoughts on that.
sounds good. Yeah, one of the problems with a flag set like this, where things sell for a quarter, is that you can't really even go to the strategy of, well, I'll just buy a bunch of Revivify and look for an undead mob, right? 'Cause you can't sell enough things in order to buy stuff. I mean, I did loot 87 chests, which is obscenely high for me. And I found absolutely nothing in them aside from a bunch of hero rings and maybe one of my 2 Aura Lances I found. There's absolute gutter tier garbage in most of them, right? The cat hoods I got courtesy of that grind fight outside of Narsh, and all my other stuff I had to fight for, basically. So
yeah, we do have Hefe with us.
GG,
GG's. Congratulations. That was
GG's
a
one.
tough one.
It was, yeah. We kind of knew that going in, and it wasn't a favorable flag set in my opinion. But you know, it's a challenge seed, and I made the best of it, you know. So
I mean, you both came in under 2 hours, which is a darn sight better than I definitely would have. Something that oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Well, I wanted to ask about grind fights. We were talking about that just a second ago, and I'm curious how your general habits for grind fights get changed with the type of flag set this is. You know, with the different drop tables, the way that money and shops work in it. So, Hefe, what were your thoughts about finding those experience points in the early game?
Well, the thing is I'm looking for 2 things whenever I'm doing grind fights in a flag set like this. I'm looking for how much experience can I get and what can I get out of the fight. So if I have a fight that's not good experience and not good drops, I'm just going to move to the next biome of some sort, next enemy table, and see what I can do. I didn't get a whole lot.
Those Lobos dropping gutter tier garbage at the sealed gate pull down. I was like, all right, we're moving along to the next one here.
Exactly. I mean, that's what I did. I mean, I took the fight inside Imperial Camp, and it was pretty good EXP, and I was able to do it with Aura Lance and Boots and Horn. So I was like, well, I'll grind this a couple of times just to get some experience and get off ground floor. But it wasn't the fight that I wanted, experience-wise or drop-wise. So, you know...
Well, at least you could beat it. I could not beat that fight.
I think I got lucky with a couple of good pogos there, so...
I will say the fights were so unforgiving that even when y'all came across the ogre and the whatchamacallit, they were like, you know what, I think I'll do this, and Brista's on bites, and that was just kind of telling, you know, of how it was going to go. So, Hefe, you talk about your opening strategy, finding the grind fights. How huge was that Merton on that mover in the desert for you?
That was beautiful. Like, I I was trying to figure out what I was going to do with Rage because, you know, I'm like, I've got to find a good weapon and I've got to find an offering and I've got to find all these other things. And then all of a sudden I'm like, hey, mover. I'm like, I'm not losing this fight. Like, I don't care how many times I have to reset. I'm going to take this fight and I'm going to win it. And thank goodness we won it the first time. But I was like, hey, and I have Merton.
60% of the time, it works every time. Let's go.
Yeah, I was quite happy to see movers there because that was literally a bulk of my offense for the siege.
Yeah, I was relying on Bolt 3 and/or the Ogre AoE Storm Ice thing. The problem is, like, most of the bosses I ran into, they're like, Dullahan absorbs ice. Doomgaze absorbs ice. Senor Behemoth absorbs ice. And I'm just like, well, I guess we're just going to have to, you know, hope that the Bolt 3 works here. It was pretty wild.
Yeah, I only ran into Flame Eater who ate Merton, of course. So other than that, it was pretty good strat.
Yeah,
just happened to fall into my lap. I mean, it wasn't like I successfully searched it out or anything. I mean, it literally fell in my lap, and it's like, okay, I'll take it.
Sometimes you just have to give what the seed gives you, like,
Exactly.
And that's what it is. You know, bashing your head against the wall for a while, and then sometimes it just happens. You go to the right dragon and get the Ragnarok, and you're like, all right, well, I guess we're in business now. You know. So for
how did you handle your dragons? Did you go early or did you go late?
Right away.
Or did
yeah, no, I went right away because
Okay,
my strategy usually is with chaos flags. You're usually getting 2 of 3 requirements, and dragons, unless it's like 6 or 7, dragons I'm usually gonna go get, and they drop high tier stuff. Although in this flag set, I think it was standard items, so there was a lot of junk in there, and I swear if Marvel shoes came up, I would have just quit the seed.
Oh, my friend, there were marble shoes to be had. You just picked all of the wrong spots.
Oh, I'm so happy, man.
I think I ended up with like 20 some odd pair of them.
Yeah. Everything was dropping Marvel shoes that Hefe was running into.
So Hefe went to Foot Locker while I was playing a randomizer. I got you.
Yeah. No, see, I was thinking about, you know, high tier items off of dragons are good things, but their experience is so low at the beginning of seeds that I was thinking if I try, you know, it's a delicate balance because I wanted to put them at the end to try and level up to where I could actually kill Kefka at some point. And, you know, but I needed the high tier items. Like, my lock was there for 7/8 of the seed. and then all of a sudden he got a Ragnarok and it's like, oh, he can do something now. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Because otherwise he was literally standing there doing, I think he was swinging a sword breaker for like 300 HP. Or 300
Yeah,
damage.
not fun.
Right.
I did find some snipers somewhere and I was tempted to go buy them, but at that point I already had like the Orlance Boots Horn combo and I didn't want to go chasing after offerings either. So, it's kind of whatever. That was the only other, like, form of a lock build I even saw out there in the wilds, too. So, I also decided to run through Kefka Tower twice. Just because I got my unlock at level, like, 30 or so. I knew I was too low of level, and with the shuffled statues in the tower, I knew they were going to be a problem. So I sacrificed, I think, some minutes, but knowing exactly what statues I was going to fight allowed me to set up my party when I walked back in so that Goddess really wasn't a problem, and I just yeeted Pearl Rods at Poltergeist, and that was that.
Yeah, that was my plan too. I knew that I was going to take the middle path all the way up, and I took, you know, my full party up the middle path and then scouted the 2 outsides, and that way, you know, I had Merton as a majority of my offense, so, you know, I can't send that to Poltergeist. That's not going to do me a bit of good.
And when Atma shows up at the Guardian spot, you can't do that either.
Yeah, I think I had Bolt 3 or Ice 3. I had something pretty good at that point, but...
Yeah. Oh man, the spells on the Espers were garbage. I think Terra learned Ice 3 naturally. Otherwise, it would have been rough trying to figure out what to do.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, I used Cure like 3 times. I had a Cursed Ring or something. I learned X-Zone somehow, and that was good. But other than that, like, and that was only good for, you know, literally like Final Kefka. So
I'm sorry,
Yeah,
chat,
so
that I
we're
could
not
not suplex the train. I did instant death it though, so can we call it even?
Absolutely not.
Yeah.
No,
Alright.
yeah, no.
So Zero Dog's pet, no train suplex. I'm actually not the winner.
no,
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
Forfeit my
As-
title.
as
dog,
soon
at
as-
least. I petted the dog twice.
Yeah, as soon as Hefe pet the dog, he found fire rods. Go figure.
Oh,
So-
okay. Yeah, well, that's what it is now.
All right, Hefe. Before we let you go, do you have any final words or final thoughts on the seed you would like to share?
No, I mean, thank y'all for putting on the production here, and Swans, thanks for racing. Had a good time, and better person
sure.
won tonight. Seeds are tough, and that was a
Real
that was a
tough.
tough one. But it was a good time had by all, hopefully, and thank you everybody.
Yeah, thank you, Hefe. Thank you for racing, and GG's again. We are joined by a special guest. We're gonna let the commissioner of the Chaos Tournament of the Month.
Ooh, the Chaos Commish.
Yeah, we're gonna let
He
Numbers JS crown the Schwantz before we head out here. Welcome on in, Numbers. Give Schwantz his flowers, if you will, please, good sir.
Congratulations, you may now sit on your throne on top of Fanatic's Tower.
The Chaos Cult leader. Welcome, everybody.
That
Thank you so much.
Congratulations. I'm so sorry. I wish I could have got in to watch this. I had some classes I had to get done tonight, but I'm glad I got to catch it whenever I did. But congratulations. I love watching you guys race. You guys just have such a different dynamic whenever you guys race, and I wish I could have seen the race. I'll go back and watch it later, but the last time you two raced, I just loved watching it, and I love watching all the Chaos races, and I love the group that we've got going on right now. Everybody it's just fun. It's so fun to see all the different Chaos races that we have going on, and how everybody attacks them so different all the time. It's a great thing to get into if you're just bored with your regular stuff. So
Yeah, I love how many different strategies come out of these random seeds that Seedbot says, here you guys go, here's pain for the next 2 hours, right? You often get a lot of interesting, fun strategies, or you get to do things you don't normally do when you just play the game with even like a slight offset of what standard racing flags would be. So thank you, JS, for organizing this tournament of the month. I have so much fun entering it, and I'm glad to finally be the champ for 1 month. It's like a dream come true.
yeah, I think you are like our ultimate finalist. You're always in the finals, but you haven't won it yet.
I'm the
So-
lovable loser,
I'm pretty sure what you and Zenobian were like the first 3 months in the finals, and then it was like you, him, and Judge Joe in the finals, and then you and Hefe in the finals, and now this month, congratulations, you finally got it. You deserve it.
Ladies and gentlemen, we got him.
We got him.
We got
Yeah,
him.
but no, seriously, thank you also to Hefe for agreeing to do this on stream. This was a lot of fun. Also, Drinks, Glue, and Turzin, thank you so much for putting on the broadcast. Can't have the broadcast without you guys. So, JS, you can go back and rewatch this whenever you're procrastinating your thesis later on. And also, thank you to RPG Limit Break for hosting us as well. Really appreciate that. And hopefully everybody enjoyed the fireworks.
Thank you, Schwantz. Numbers, do you have anything you would like to throw out there? Any final words before
Anybody
I sign
out
us
there?
off?
Anybody out there that wants to get into these chaos races, it's gonna make you a better UL racer, a Ultros League racer. I'm telling you that.
Oh, absolutely.
It makes me better, and I'm a mid grade runner, but I can see me using these strategies from these chaos runs where it's like, and going over into Ultros League, and I'm like, wait, I did this last month in this chaos race, and that's kind of rare, but it's gonna work in this situation. It will make you a better runner, and at first you're gonna be like, what is going on? I have no clue, but that's why it's chaos. So,
Yes, indeed.
but yep, that's all I got. Everybody just come join in, and I'll have another one up on the 1st, even though we have all our Kefka Grand Prix going on right now. I plan on running this still too. So
Very well said. And thank you again, Numbers, for joining us. I know you wanted to do comms tonight, but you had some previous commitments. But nevertheless, I'm personally happy that you were able to sneak in here at the last moment and get a word in. Before we go, Tersman, I'm gonna let you give a final word, and then I'll sign us off, if you will.
Well, I'll get some of the easy ones out of the way. Please come on down to ffsxworldscollide.com if you want to roll a seat of your own, or if you want to jump into the Discord. That's how you can join next month's Tournament of the Month, which will be another Chaos seed. It starts off regular. Keep that in mind. It gets weirder over time. And yeah, just big thanks to Schwantz and Hefe for running. Thank you, Drinks Glue, for running all the buttons and the knobs in the background. And biggest thanks to Numbers for putting this on.
Yeah, yes, indeed. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, that is all we have for you. I personally would like to give a thank you to Hefe and Schwantz for agreeing to sync race and struggle through these shenanigans on stream for our enjoyment. Thank you, guys. Thank you, Numbers, for joining us very briefly. Tersman for doing comms with us. And also, I would like to thank RPG Limerick for allowing me and my friends the opportunity to come on your channel, do these shenanigans, play the games we love. Thank you, RPG Limerick, and I hope you guys had some fun night watching us, and wish y'all a very well evening.
Peace out, everybody. Thanks.
Have a good one, everyone.
Have a good night.